in terms of larger questions, of, say, the larger place of language in the story of what makes humans and of human nature, two prominent differences are the role of evolution in understanding language. I think that if you're going to say that something is innate, it's a kind of responsibility to then explain how do we get it? How did I get here? And in the case of innate structures, especially ones that are said to be highly complex, natural selection is the only process that we know of in science that can result in the evolution of complex, adaptively complex innate structures, and it seems hard to deny that language is adaptive for a species like ours that lives by its wits and that exchanges know-how and that cooperates and so on. And so therefore, a complete story of language wouldn't stop with it being innate, but would then ask what role did it play in human evolution? What were the selective advantages of having complex grammar as opposed to not having it? Chomsky definitely does not see it that way. Not only is he is militantly agnostic about how language evolved, not that he denies that it could have evolved by natural selection, but doesn't see how there's any insight gained by describing it that way, but also has become, I think, increasingly in recent years, hostile to the very idea that language is in some sense a system designed for communication. That, in fact, language is, Chomsky has quotes that says...
Who left?
You think I'm...
Out.
Now, just because there's almost this, for someone who doesn't know Chomsky's writings, this might also almost sound like a mischaracterization or a straw man or a caricature, but I assure you it is not. And Chomsky has written, language evolved for beauty, not for use, and in fact is unusable. People can, it is very hard to know exactly what one could mean by that, especially given that the argument is itself couched in language. But indeed, Chomsky's skepticism about evolution extends far enough to say that there's nothing about language that's particularly well adapted for communication, that people use it for communication in the same way that they use hairstyles or clothing for communication, but there's no sense in which you can understand its function to be communication. And so that's an idea that I consider unhelpful, would be, I guess, one way to put it.